and welcome to Sport Tonight. I'm Cecilia Mogwe, right here in Lagos studio. Well, how do we start? The winning empire built by Pep Guardiola is crumbling, right? The cracks were there at the end of last year. 9 losses in 13 games, and now with that thrashing by Real Madrid in the round of 16, in the knockout stage to qualify for the round of 16, Manchester City, former champions, were well beaten. And of course, Kylian Mbappe was the man responsible for that. We'll be hearing from Pep Guardiola on the show tonight. What is the way forward for Man City? Is the winning empire really crumbling for the team from Manchester? We'll talk about the UEFA Champions League and also look at the Europa League, the games that are currently going on, and also those that have been concluded. Updates will be coming on the show tonight. Yes, NPFL match day 6 will be having a comprehensive review of the games of all the games that went down on Wednesday evening, and of course NPFL match day 25. Remo Stars are 10 points clear at the top of the table, with Shooting Stars refusing to win in their last 3 games. So Remo Stars are leading the pack, 51 points. Wow, 10 points clear. And of course, Shooting Stars got a point and 41 points. That's the numbers of points that they have. Well, you would say, yes, it's match day 25, but it's Remo Stars going to win. It'll be a record for everyone if they are able to do that. Remember, it's a privately owned club, not a government-owned club. So all the resources they are pulling in to ensure that, yes, maybe, just maybe, Remo Stars will emerge the winners of the Nigerian Premier Football League at the end of this season. Yes, we'll talk about the NPFL tonight. And skating will be getting our attention. Yes, skating in Nigeria. Remember last year, they hosted the African Championship right there in Calabar. So this year, a lot is going down. The second edition will be coming up. We will also be talking about that. Austin, you ready to join in?
Spotty greetings to you, Cecilia, and of course everyone joining us on the show tonight. It's always an action-packed world of sports. Yes, I was listening to you, talk about the rundown for tonight's show. I'm like, yes, it's loaded. So much to talk about, from the NPFL to the Nigerian Women's Football League to the UEFA Champions League. The stage is now set for the round of 16. The draw will be done tomorrow. We'll come on this show to talk about it. The UEFA Europa League going on at the moment. I'll be giving you live updates on the show tonight. Of course, you talked about skating. I'd like to see what we're doing in Nigeria as regards that one, because I've said it over and over again. We've got the human resource, we've got the talent, we've got the people, we've got the market. It's administration that we're looking up to, Cecilia.
And you also need to put the money in there. So once you have all that, everything is set. It's a Thursday, and Bolu Omoniyi is right here in Lagos studio. Bolu, it's good to have you join us tonight.
See what again on the day where it feels like Remo Stars have one hand on the title already. I think we've said it over time, that franchise is a well-run franchise, and we can see what the impact even in their women's game as well, doing so well in the NWFL and UEFA Champions League. Keep showing us why it's the most exciting club competition day in, day out. On Tuesday, we saw the Italian teams in the playoff pack their loads and get out of the competition. Then Man City follows suit, and people keep asking, what's the problem? The truth is, no matter how great you are, in football, there'll be a rough patch. And it feels like City are going through their dry spell. How long will it last? That's $1 million question. But I'm loving the NPFL this season. Normally midweek we don't see goals. But midweek after midweek we keep seeing loads and loads of goals. If you think Premier League or La Liga or Serie A, whatever is competitive, just follow the NPFL.
Follow it and you will see the surprises that usually happen. And Better Insurance went all the way to Academy Warriors. They didn't come up with any, they didn't score, but they didn't come back empty-handed. They got a point right there. Yes, that will get our attention tonight on the show. But we're starting off with skating. You know, Austin mentioned about when you're talking about some sports that are coming up in the country, you need to give more attention to it, especially when you have the human resources, the people, the market, everything is there. All you need, when you are able to invest in it, that's when you can actually reap it. So we will be talking skating when Daniel Damola, the sports management expert and organizer of the skating championship, he will be joining us from Germany tonight on the show. Damola, it's good to have you join us on the program.
Nice seeing you again, and Happy New Year to you and Austin Okonakman. my very own friend.
Happy New Year to you too. All right, so tell us, what are we expecting in this year's edition? Last year was the very first time it was held in the country, and this year something is going on. Tell us, what are we expecting from this year's event?
Well, Skateathon is an event where, all skaters across Nigeria and Africa converge in our great country, Nigeria, precisely Cross River State, Calabar, for a showdown for the ultimate prize in skating. So last year was a hit. His Excellency, the governor, was there to grace the occasion. And then he promised that skating is going to become an annual event in the state calendar as well. So the state adopted it, so it now becomes a norm. So this year we are having the second edition, which is going to be bigger than the first edition.
Interesting. It's going to be bigger, yes. That we obviously, when you have the first one, you have some challenges you face, and second one, you want to work on that. What were some of those challenges you faced in the first edition, and what are the things you want to do differently to ensure this one will definitely be better, as you just mentioned?
So the last year, I think it was the issue of the SALA that made us to adjust our schedule, and also in the area of funding as well, which the state governor stepped in and assisted us with some fundings to get the event through. But on this particular occasion, we've been trying to see how we can, cut all those shortcomings to the barest minimum, and also look for a way corporate bodies can come in, because skating is now a lifestyle of so many Nigerian youth.
Okay, so how many athletes are we expecting for this year's event? How many athletes, and do we have prize money? And then after this, what's the way forward? What's next, for the championship?
According to this year's event, the total cash prize money is going to be 16 million naira. And then as well, we are looking at so many disciplines. The total number of skaters we are expecting for this year's event is about 2,310 registered skaters across Nigeria and Africa as well. I think we have four European athletes as well coming in for this year's event as well. So it's getting bigger and bigger every day. But for the prize money, it's going to be 16 million naira in total cash prize. And this is the biggest skating event in the entire African continent.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's where I want to come in, Damola. Good to have you on the show once again. You say it's the biggest in Africa. What makes it that?
In terms of prize money, the number of participants coming in, the number of countries as well coming in. Last year we had 4 countries, but this year now I think we've gotten about 9 countries signing up, and again, like I said, 4 European athletes coming in.
Damola, I'm a bit bothered. Is it just going to be a competition? Because we can go the entire year after this championship and we won't hear anything about skating anymore. We know you with curling and the work that you do on the ground. But with this skating, are we just concerned about consumption? What are we doing in terms of the production and sustainability of skating? Because I'm in the United Kingdom. I know skating is big, it's beyond leisure. What is the long-term objective for this skating championship, particularly in terms of developing?
That's a nice question, Austin. I think from last year, we've drawn up a plan for the skating event to be sustained in the country. We've divided the country into zones. We have the North Zone, we have the Western Zone, the South and Southeast Zone. Last year alone, we had the Northern Zone event. We had the Western Zone, South Zone event as well. And also, as it is now, we also have individual state events. We hosted all those events last year prior to the big one, which is Skateathon. As it is now, we are also going into our National Sports Festival to demonstrate the sport this year, so that next year it becomes a scoring sport. As we speak as well, we have all state associations scattered across the country. We have well over 29 states now officially doing the sport of skating. So the developmental plan is huge. As you know me, I'm a sportsman. I do all kinds of sports, and any sport I put my name into becomes a gold automatically. So,
and that's why I'm going
plans
to be.
we've set up.
Yeah, Damola, and that's how I will be monitoring this one. So before we let you go, unless Cecilia has got questions, but for me, this is the last. With what you've seen, you're a consultant to the skating championship, but with your background study, with the people you've interacted with the level of interest and attention, does Nigeria have the potential to do well with skating?
Course, we have potential to do well in skating. And let me also prick your conscience. We are doing inline skating now, and also we're going to be transcending them from that inline skating to the figure skating and speed skating and short track for the Olympics in both winter and summer sport. Nigeria has gotten the potential. About 4 or 5 years ago, we won bronze medal at the African level. And not only we missed the Olympics, but next Olympics, Nigeria is going to be there. That's why you see us do this in and out. And kudos to His Excellency, the Governor of Cross River State, Prince Basio too, who has now taken it upon himself to make sure that skating grows in Nigeria year in, year out. So it's not going to be a thing of one-off thing. It's a continuous thing because he has approved it and is also backing it up from his own pocket as well to make sure that skating grows in Nigeria.
Okay, I mean, this is what, let me ask you this one before we let you go. I mean, he's backing it. What happens when he leaves? Because we always have this issue when a particular governor loves a sport so much, and then when he leaves, I mean, the sport is going down. How are you trying to maybe raise funds from other avenue, having the private sector actually coming in, you know, to partner with you guys to ensure this continue after the governor left? Apart from the African Skating Championship, do we have a regular championship that we host, you know, for these athletes who are interested in it to be competitive every time, not just waiting for one championship to hold?
Question. The governor and the state, they've signed this into an annual event whereby even though His Excellency is no more on seat, it's now become a norm in the state, just like the Calabar Carnival. Any government that comes in, the carnival must continue. So he has graciously approved it and has passed it into, with his executive order to make it an annual event in the calendar of sporting, in the sporting calendar of Cross River State. And aside from that as well, talking about sponsorship as well, we've been doing our bit as well to reach out to sponsors as well, to come in as well, to also partner with us to make it more bigger than the Lagos Marathon. Like, you know, skating is becoming too big. Like Austin mentioned as well, here in Germany, we have the Berlin Skating Marathon, which is very, very big, sponsored by BMW and so many other. And also there in UK, and in the entire world as well. Like we know as well, it's an Olympic sport as well. So we are working both with the state government and also private sector to make sure that it becomes a norm in Nigeria and it becomes a sport, like I always say, to rival football. I know Austin is going to hit me there again.
I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that tonight.
You haven't answered the last question about championship that you guys usually organize. I mean, the grassroots level that Austin mentioned earlier. We have championships that you organize every, you know.
We do. We have all the zonal championship. All the zonal championship, the North Zone, the West Zone, the South, Southeast, and also the Interstate Zone. And also, as we speak now, we're going to be cooperating with the Secondary School Sports Federation to also take it as well a step further to make sure that it goes completely to the grassroots. But Skate-a-thon has come to stay, and it's going to be, and it is the biggest skating event in Africa that you can put your money on.
All right. Thank you so much, Daniel Damola, for joining us on the show tonight to talk about skating in Nigeria.
Thank you, guys. And I also thank His Excellency for giving us the enabling environment to make skating a sport in Nigeria.
All right. Bolu, I mean, you just a quick one on it. Yeah. Interesting, right? I mean, he's fired up.
Well, incidentally, last year I was on the show with him as well when he was talking about. I like it when you like what you do. That was the first thing.
He enjoys it.
You enjoy what you do. When you do, it makes it a bit easier. And I like that he said the consistency is almost certain. I hope it's not just words of mouth that after the event, or like you rightly asked, when the governor leaves, then boom, things change about. But Austin asked a key question. You also said the same thing. What happens when this skater-thon is over? Are we waiting till 2026 again? We can have federations. He said we have 29 states who have embedded it, but what about the other states as well? And do we just have federations, or we are really working to make athletes go? Because we see people we see some couriers now using skaters and everything. So it is easy to just use them, but are we making use of them? He spoke about next Olympics. The truth is some countries are ready for skating for next Olympics now, but it's still not too late to start afresh and plan towards. So I hope these are not just words, they are not just setting up federations, extra codes and code. No, I hope they really, really want to work towards it and make the young generation to grow. And who knows, if he said this is the biggest in Africa, who says we can't have the biggest in the world?
Interesting. That's large and huge. All right, we're leaving skating and quickly. Yes, we have a lot to talk about today. We're going straight to the Nigerian Women's Football League Premiership games that were played across the country on Wednesday. So you have a lot of games with Delta Queens. They know they needed to win, and that's what they did. They had their biggest win of the season just yesterday. So we start out with Group A. Results from Group A on match day 6 of the Nigerian Women's Football League. Dana's ladies, right here in Lagos, they lost to Remo Stars ladies 2-0. So Remo Stars are holding on to that top spot that they are on in Group A. Conference Queens still winless. Edo Queens went, to Conference Queens to get all 3 points. So Remo Stars still leading, followed by Edo Queens. Once we show you the table, you see what I'm talking about. Nassau Amazons were 2-0 winners over Heartland Queens, and Abia Angels and Ekiti Queens. Abia Angels winning by a lone goal. Now on to Group B, where you have fantastic result. Goals were in this group. Benue Queens losing at home to Rivers Angels. Benue Queens also still winless this season. Bayelsa Queens 2-1 winners over Nigeria Ratters. Nigeria Ratters, this is their first loss of the season. Ibom Angels and Adamawa Queens. Ibom Angels 3-1 winners. And of course, Delta Queens 4-1 win over Robo FC. No one saw this result coming. I didn't see this coming. Yes, Robo Queens, they've been bad travelers, but collecting 4 in Asaba is not something we thought was going to happen. So Austin, which is your pick here? So we'll talk about the other ones before we dwell on the game in Lagos.
Yeah, I talked about it, last night. I said it's good to see some away wins, particularly if Rivers Angels can go to Benue Queens and get the win, and they did just that. I think I mentioned Edo Queens also, and they got it done away at Conference Queens, because I said it's important to start putting those wins into perspective now, so we can start, our analysis can start tilting towards those teams that we think can make it to the Super 6. So interesting results, the one in Lagos, Dana's ladies and Remo Stars ladies. I talked about it, that Remo Stars ladies, they can start dreaming. And I also talked about Dana Queens, picking up from where they stopped against Edo Queens in that game in Lagos that ended 1-1, that it's good for their confidence. But if you see the way Remo Stars ladies, they're approaching every game, you can tell that they are not one for the numbers. And I really just hope that this will propel them to do bigger things in that group, on that Group A table. So big win for Remo Stars lady against Dana's ladies. That game ending by 2-0. We'll continue to see what they can do in this league. We've talked about it, that what Remo Stars, the men's team seem to be. Look at that composed finish. Love it so much.
Bashiru Kafayat.
So it's a good one for the league. I also mentioned yesterday, I said something about Ibom Angels doing, some magic to get us talking, and they did just that. But shout out to Remo Stars ladies for the composure, for the quality they've shown. Doesn't take anything from the quality of Dana's ladies also, but it goes to tell you that so much work is being done in this team, and they are getting the goals. They are playing as a team, and it's so good for the development of women's league football in Nigeria.
I was watching this game. Just take a look at how they started from the back. Sometimes it's hard. You say not all goalkeepers can play from the back. We usually Onana is one of such. But you saw how controlled she was. When she handled the ball and take the pass, and this true pass was actually what almost led to their second goal before Bolaji scored her 8th goal of the season as the leading goal scorer. I mean, Dana's ladies, Remo Stars ladies, this was a game, 2 privately owned club, well run and also well funded. We've seen good football. We saw good football on Wednesday.
When you start talking about the Remo franchise, sometimes it will be like persist to the top. But the truth is, when you see something good, you talk about it. Those guys, men and women, are doing. But Danas, I know they are an academy.
That's the goal I'm talking about. Bolaji, 8th goal of the season.
When you are good, you are good. 8 goals in 6 games so far this season just shows she has it and she's producing it. We've seen stuff like that with Asisat Oshoala. We've seen it with Monday Gift. We've seen it with Rashida Ajibade. And those ladies went on to do great things wherever they are. Hopefully this one also gets to grow well. But Dana's ladies, one thing I love them for, their girls are young. Academy and everything. But Remo Stars ladies, it's hard to ignore these girls. It's hard to ignore
them. I mean, just fantastic play, fantastic goals that they score. We need to go on a break. When we'll come back, we'll be taking a look at the table. What is looking like? Who are those topping in Group A and Group B? So time to take a look at the table. What's it like in Group A and Group B? So we're starting up with Group A. Remo Stars, they are 16. They are on 16 points after 6 matches, 5 wins, just 1 draw. They're yet to lose a game, and that draw was against the second place team. That's Edo Queens, who have 4 wins and 2 draws. They are also yet to win. They're on 14 points, and they have the same number of goal difference now. And that's why Amazons are 3rd on 12 points after 6 matches. They've lost 2 games so far this season. And you go to Abia Angels. Abia Angels, they are 4th on the log. Ekiti Queens are 5th on 9 points. They've won 3 games so far this season, losing 3. And Dana's ladies, of course, they've won 1, and of course, they've drawn 2. And now this is their 3rd loss, and that's why they are in this particular position. Of course, Heartland, they're yet to win a game. They've had 2 draws, and they've lost 4 games, and that's why they are on 2 points. But if you go to Group B, that's where you have the teams that have not even collected a point at all. And that's where you have Adamawa. Adamawa Queens, of course, they are on 7 points. Nigeria Ratels on 7. But let's look up. Bayelsa Queens and Remo Stars, they have the same numbers of points because just 2 draws for Bayelsa Queens, but they've won 4 games. They're yet to lose. Rivers Angels, same thing, winning 4 and 2 draws, also yet to lose. Same numbers of points. But on goal difference, that's the reason you have Bayelsa Queens actually topping the table. FC Robo Queens, they are 3rd, 10 points from 6 matches. They've lost 2 games so far this season. Delta Queens had to move up. They were bottom before, but after what happened, they moved up a little bit. Of course, that's why they are here in this particular position. You have Ibom Angels, and of course, Ibom Angels, as I mentioned earlier, on 7 points. And the team at the bottom happens to be Benue Queens. They not really. Benue Queens is on Group A. No, Group B. Yes, Benue Queens. They're not here, but then they are at the bottom of the table. So this is what it looks like after match day 6. So match day 7 next week, we'll come back here to see those teams are really prepping up to get into the Super 6. That's where the real business will start, because that's where you find out the teams that will Edo Queens actually retain their title, or teams like Remo Stars, who are flying so far, if they can actually knock them off and get their hands on it. It will be historic having Remo Stars ladies and Remo Stars for the men winning both the NWFL and NPFL. Waiting for that. But now NPFL, yes, that is getting our attention right now. I'm talking about Remo Stars. Just this evening, they won 2-0 against Kwara United. So that game is setting the pace for us tonight, where we're going to talk about the NPFL, the games that were played just today, and of course we'll look at the games that were played on Wednesday. So when we have that ready, we'll start off with it. Austin, I mean, yes, we've mentioned Remo Stars before, 10 points clear, but that win against Kwara United, more like a routine for them.
You know, Remo Stars, big team all day, every day. We talked about them when it was just 5 points gap. Now it's 10. You know, mind the gap, by the way. When you're doing that good, it means you've got one. As Bolu said, you've got sight of the league trophy, and now you want to put one hand on it. It's just match day 25, but yeah, it's just match day 25. We've got about 13 more matches to go. what's the worst that can happen? Remo Stars lose all their away games and win all their home matches. They're likely to still win the league title, you know. So let's see if they can keep that consistency. They needed to bounce back after that match day 24 defeat in Enugu to Rangers, bitter rivals. The first leg in Ikena ended 2-1. Coach Fidelis Ilechukwu told his good friend, he told Ijabol, when you come to Enugu, I'll do you the same thing. And the Rangers won by 2-1. You know, beautiful game of football. I saw it. That goal scored. The first set-piece goal by Saviour Isaac was a bullet of a strike, you know, set-piece goal. And then they topped it up, you know, 2-0, 94th minute. Sikiru Alimi, you know, got his fourth goal of the season. It ended 2-1. Kwara United, before this game, they were, you know, getting into form, back-to-back wins. They labored 1-0 win over Bayelsa United in Ilorin. Wasiu Jimoh with that late goal also. So Remo Stars understand that they are the team to beat, you know, and if you check, even till the end of the game against Kwara United, they kept pushing until Haruna scored that goal in the late minute of the game. So they are a team in Enugu. They scored a late goal. Today in Ikena, they scored a late goal. They are fighting. They are pushing. They are sending a strong message to everyone that they really want this league title. Coupled with what we've said, they are doing the work in the background. Administration is all right. Infrastructure is good. Management is top-notch. Those are the things that they are doing in the background. And those of us watching them in front were saying it also that the results seem to be showing. But what other results are we talking? I think Bendel Insurance did good by going to Maiduguri to pick a point. That will be very good for them on the table. Kano Pillars also picked a point away from home. Aqua United seemed like they want to get relegated, you know, because I looked at that game and I said if they cannot win that game against Rivers United, then now it's for sure that they will get relegated. So we'll wait to see what the remainder of the season will give us.
Yeah, definitely, that's all we'll see. But just confirmation of the results I mentioned earlier. You have the games played earlier today. Katsina beating Eimba by 2-1. And of course, Remo Stars and Kwara United. That was how it ended. Now, let's just know confirmation of the games that went down on Wednesday, or the results for you. Austin mentioned Better Insurance going to Academy Warriors to collect points. They ended goalless on match day 25. Sunshine Stars and Kano Pillars, this game ended 1-0. They had to share the points. Kano Pillars picking up the points. Abia Warriors beating Rangers by lone goal. Bayelsa United and Nasarawa United, they shared the spoils there at 2-2. Niger Tornadoes and Heartland 2-1. Aqua United, also mentioned it earlier, against Rivers United. Aqua United had all these chances. You see the game when we start the analysis on the show later on. Shooting Stars and Lobby Stars. This could have been where Shooting Stars would close the gap on Remo Stars, but they couldn't do that. So it ended 2-0. So Lobby Stars sharing the spoils there. Remember, Daniel Amokachi has left the club. So one of the backroom coaches that were there, he has stepped up, you know, to be in charge of Lobby Stars. So Ikorodu City, where you have the Super Eagles coach in the stands actually watching them play, they beat Plateau United by 2-1. Plateau United scoring first. Bolu, so we're going to start up with that game, Ikorodu City and Plateau United. Especially the way Plateau United started. You thought, oh, this is it. But then, trust Ikorodu City, they were not going to be beaten down.
Those guys are doing something good as well. We speak about how Remo Stars are good, how
that's the first goal.
Fortress. Ikorodu City are doing something similar. Now, when you come to Lagos, you know you're not going home with anything at all. The fact that they consider first, it showed resilience, it showed fighting spirit. And the interesting thing is that 2 goals came in the space of about 6-7 minutes. More like back-to-back, and boom, that was all they needed. In our men's Plateau United will have to chase for the remaining, I think, 10 minutes of that, but they held on to the points and made sure they picked all 3 points. Yes, they may not qualify for continent for next season, but they've sent a message that we are not here for jokes, we are here to stay. If teams like Remo Stars are not doing what they are doing, if teams like maybe Shooting Stars are not doing what they are doing, probably Ikorodu City would have even pushed farther than they are doing this season. Good win for them, necessary win. I remember how poor they started. It felt like Rivers were going to win the league. Ikorodu City were going down. Then they sacked their coach, a new manager came on board, and boom, their fortunes turned around. At some point, they pushed into the top 4 of the NPFL. Yeah, they've been dealing that, but a top half finish for a new team in the league, I think it's a win-win enough for them.
Definitely a win-win. We're enjoying the goals right there, how they started the comeback. I mean, I was wondering what the defenders were doing, just running around and couldn't hold on to the ball. And then the second one came, and where they had to finish it up. I'm happy that Super Eagles coach was there to actually see how brilliant these boys can really be. So while you're waiting for your international players to show up, that yes, can actually build a home team here in Nigeria that will be ready. And this is what that victory actually means to them, and that's the reason they move up to 5th, because they needed this victory so far. Now the other game we're going to show you is that of Aqua United at Rivers United. As Austin mentioned that game earlier. Now Aqua United had all the chances. They had all the chances. I thought they could have been like 3-0 up before, they ended up getting a draw in that game. They had all the chances. I was wondering what was going on. Just maybe. Now, see the first missed chance. I mean, what was he thinking? And you take a look at the second one, how it all started. So it shows Aqua United just maybe until when Rivers scored first, I think that's when they woke up. They knew that, oh, we can't lose this.
It's embarrassing. I think Austin has even given up that. Okay, well, maybe when we go down, I started waxing lyrical about Ibomingers. Maybe he has switched from Aqua United to Remain, because for a few years they've been dilly-dallying around the relegation waters and all, and it feels like this is, and they may become another Everton, find ways to survive and live to fight another day. But you don't expect an Aqua United side to be fighting relegation. They literally have the best venue in the NPFL.
Literally, they have the best, the only good stadium we have in Nigeria. That's where they play. Cap recognized. That's where they play. So
I don't know what they have to find a way to get back. It's not too late because they're not far away from those above them, but they have to find a solution, and they have to find a solution.
And they play good football. I mean, the way they play, the goals just wasn't coming. So I'm wondering, is it that they didn't buy well? Get a striker that can actually help you finish up, because they played well. The passes, everything you can think of. The way they played Rivers United, you'll be thinking just maybe something was going to come up. And before, through this header, they were able to equalize and get one. They had to fight this almost till the end to get this one. I mean, this is a team that won the league 3 or 4 seasons ago, and then they're just struggling to actually,
you don't score, you don't win.
You don't score, you don't win. So you need those goals to actually get in there. And of course, Sunshine Stars and Kano Pillars, we'll talk about that one briefly. That game, Kano Pillars going away from home to pick up that point.
It was also an important point for Kano Pillars. Kano Pillars have also been very inconsistent, very, very inconsistent, but they are finding ways to get back. When Musa joined, the goals were coming, assist, suddenly everything went out. But they are still, at least they will tell you they are better than the likes of Aqua United. We are not battling relegation. They've been around, they've become a mid-table team. And it didn't start this year as well. Yeah. It feels like all our elite clubs are just dropping. Look at even the Imba themselves. It looks like they're not going to make the continent for next season.
11th now after 24 games. The question now
is it that the new boys are doing so well, or the old guns are just going through a rough patch?
See what this point means to them. He just came on this
picking points away from home in the NPFL.
Usually midweek games.
It meets a whole exactly, especially because most of the time you play Sunday night. By Monday morning you're on the road again, traveling for the week. So it was an important point for them. Not 3. Even though it's 1, it was an important point because you know the distance between Kano and Akure.
Austin, how important was this? I know you're enjoying the goals, right?
No, very. By the way, that's a fantastic, bicycle kicks that are made for TV. Any sort of acrobatic strike. So Gomino did a good job there because the ball was just trying to find some bearing after the goalkeeper parried it away. But look at that for a strike. What a strike right there, And these are the sort of things we see in the NPFL that we report and people don't understand. And what a goal by Chidozie won't do there, That's actually, if it was scored by Messi or Ronaldo, we'll be talking about it forever. And look at this goal. Plateau United kept fighting, and I think this goal came in the 76th minute. Kano Pillars kept fighting because they knew that they needed to get something. I think in the last 2 games until they met Abia Warriors on matchday 24 in Kano, they did their bit, won that game by 2-0. Now picking these points is very important, and with the way they celebrated, you can tell that in the NPFL it's very, very difficult when you travel away from home to get points, and that's a good one that they'll be taking back to Kano. Just want to say something about Aqua United. What's wrong with that team seems to be mental, because if you take a look at when they got back into that game through Mary's header, it was in the 2nd minute, and they had lost loads of chances. And then they got that equalizer, and all you needed to do was just bust the game, suck pressure. I think they did that against Eimba, but Rivers United seemed to, find a way to lock those leakages. And they've learned so much also from their last game in Aba, because Rivers United thought they were going to get something out of it. If you check Aqua United also, they seem to play well, but it's just something wrong in terms of finishing. And I don't want to say they've been unfortunate, because the ratio of the chances that they miss to those that they score will now make you look like they're just being wasteful or they're not efficient. Okay. So it's really tough for them now, because it's looking like for sure they want to get relegated. But shout out to all the teams that went on the road to pick points. Particularly Kano, as Bendel Insurance have found a way to take themselves out of that relegation, zone conversation. And that's what a good team with a good character is supposed to be doing, Cecilia.
Yeah, and they are 9th on the log right now after 25 games. Now, let's take a look at the top 4 leading the pack. Remo Stars, as I mentioned at the start of the show, they are 10 points clear. Just take a look at the difference between Shooting Stars. Shooting Stars, their last 3 games, they haven't won. They lost 2 back-to-back, and then the last one they should have won at home, it was a draw against Lobby Stars. Hence, after 25 matches, they've won 12, they've drawn 5, and they've lost 8. And so Remo Stars at the top of the table, goal difference of plus 16, and they've lost 6 this season, drawing 3, and of course 16 wins in 25 games. That tells you a lot of what this team is trying to do this season. Rivers United are 3rd on the log after 25 games. 10 wins they've had so far, but 6 losses, and the draws are so many. Hence, they are 3rd on the log, and they are on 39 points. So they are 11 points. This is 12. Okay, now this is a lot for Rivers United. Abia Warriors, they're 39. Now this is a surprising team right here. You would be thinking teams like Enyimba or maybe Rangers will be here, but they are not here. Abia Warriors are completing the top 4. Now the bottom 4, we'll take a look at that bottom 4. That's where you have teams that you really don't expect to be there. When you look at those teams, you're looking at Plateau United, you're looking at Aqua United. Okay, we'll rest it there. On Friday, we'll give you a comprehensive, of what that is really looking like. But Austin, do you have updates coming from the Europa League?
Cecilia, we have a cracker of a game between Bodo Glimt and FC20. Remember, the first leg ended 2-1 in favor of FC20. And then Bodo Glimt, at a point that we thought that they were going to lose it, they forced the game, I think it was in the 98th minute, they forced the game into extra time, and then they turned it around. The game ended 5-2, Cecilia, 5-2 in favor of Bodo Glimt, 6-4 on aggregate. That's how to play at home. That's how to turn things around for your favor. Some of the games already concluded. AS Roma, they are through after beating FC Porto by 3-2. I told you the story of Bodo Glimt and that 7-goal thriller we saw. And then there is FCSB advancing over Park FC. They won the game by 2-0. Galatasaray couldn't beat AZ Alkmaar at home. Victor Osimhen scored a stunning goal. It was a banger. He struck it so bad. He had an intention to injure the goalkeeper, but that wasn't enough for Galatasaray. The game ended 2-2, and it's AZ Alkmaar that advanced in that one. 39th minute already gone in the game between Ajax and Union Gileos. Let me shock you. Union is away, and it's Ajax 0, Union Gileos 2, Cecilia.
And 2-2 on aggregate is so far. But this is getting more and more interesting. It's like the teams you don't expect to actually scale through are really scaling through. I mean, Galatasaray, I told you they'll be able to come back, although they lost that first leg. So aggregate of 6-3. I'm like, Victor Osimhen, I mean, my heart goes out to him. When they were 2 goals down, as Austin mentioned, he scored that stunner, a way to come back. But they couldn't come back fully because he ended 2-2, and then they had to pack and go home.
After that 4-1 loss in the first leg, it was almost certain they would be eliminated. Okay, well, impossible is nothing in football. You can
at least they could have still won 4-1 at home.
Exactly. You would have still get at least 3 goals difference to win. Then maybe force extra time or 4-1 more. But football these days, when you lose by 3 goals difference, it will probably take magic for you to come back, because everyone now knows no away goals anymore. So just defend with your life. Even now, teams that win by 1 goal, you just want to sit back and pick them on the break. See what happened between AC Milan and Feyenoord. See what happened between Atalanta and Club Brugge. So now everyone knows No goals, no away goals rule. When you take a goal advantage, just defend with your life and pick your position on the break. Celtic could have done simply if not for a goal in the last maybe 10 seconds of the game. We love the new, you may or may not like the new format or something, but
I love it.
You will get used to it over time and we get to enjoy it. Now people are seeing interesting games, they are seeing shockers everywhere, both in the Champions League. Now we'll talk about the Europa League. Believe me, the same thing is happening in the Europa Conference League as well. That's the beauty of the game. It's not every time the big boys win. Let's all enjoy this Cinderella story.
It's surprising. So we have the team set now for round of 16 for the Champions League, the League of the Champions. So you have a lot of champions right here. And that's why the teams like Brest, who came on thinking they can actually rub shoulders with the big boys, were beaten 10 goals to nothing. So Brest actually spelled twice. 5 letters, 5 letters. That's what PSG did to them last night. So let's look at the round of 16. All the teams said Arsenal, Aston Villa, Atletico Madrid, Borussia Dortmund, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, and Benfica. So these are the teams. So let's look at other teams. Also, you have Club Brugge, Feyenoord, Inter Milan, the only Italian team that survived, in the round of 16. Leverkusen is also here. Lille of France. You have Liverpool and PSG. So these are the teams. Now, Real Madrid. Yes, they are also here in the last 16 after what they did to, Manchester City. PSV Eindhoven, I mean, this was another shocker. We didn't expect this result, but hey, it happened. And of course, Real Madrid, at the expense of Manchester City, they are here. So you have your complete team. Just a quick one on, we can't leave this show without talking about Manchester City and Real Madrid. A derby it's becoming. But what happened last night, it seems as if, okay, they played them as if, okay, you want to rub shoulders with the big boys, so go back to where you belong. That's what Kylian Mbappe did, the hat-trick. I mean, it wasn't just the goals. It was the total dominance of Real Madrid. Last night.
We've seen City lose many games this season, but they still dominate some.
Yeah.
Just that they don't score. In fact, they score goals, they just don't defend them.
And
this time around, the goals didn't come, and they still kept conceding goals and everything. It felt like Kylian Mbappe had a message to say. When some Madrid fans were complaining that we don't need Mbappe, I told them that you guys are just angry. He didn't join Madrid 2 years ago.
Yeah.
This boy is a star already, and he's definitely going to be a bigger star at Real Madrid. Now, we can see with the goals he's scoring now, he had trick yesterday. And the goals were not just tap ins or cheap goals. The first one was the dig from the edge of the box. The second one is sent Josko Badio back to Croatia. And the third one felt like he passed into the back of the net with his weak foot. Good dominance from Real Madrid yesterday. Now that they are back to round of 16. Round of 16 is back to the regular format.
Yeah.
Then people are now saying, well, maybe these guys are back. But Man City, they need to find a solution. Maybe being out of many competitions may help them at least fight for top 4 in the Premier League. But for the Champions League, Real Madrid have sent a message to everyone that it feels we are back. And you know, with the firepower of Kylian Mbappe, Vinicius Junior, Jude Bellingham, Rodrigo Goes, and the support cast, they look unstoppable on paper. But let's see how far they can go in the Champions League. Now, it feels like we may have a Madrid derby in the round of 16.
Atletico Madrid. It's possible, and when you see that, you know what happens. Well, Pep Guardiola has got something to say about that before we listen to Austin.
I have my feeling that when we play against them, every season has been better, but this season is better than, because they can run like always have done with the pillars up front, but they can make a long possessions when they make high pressing. His dynamic at movement when we defend deep, solidarity, defend really well. So yeah, they deserve it. Yes. And with time, the team, the club, and everyone is going to, to accept what it is. But now we have 30, 40 games for the Premier League to try to next season to be here and to improve. So nothing is eternal. So we have done nothing. So we have been unbelievable, and we have to try step by step to get better than from today.
Getting better. Austin, that empire, winning empire he built over the last 5 years is crumbling and crumbling fast.
Well, that's life. When you're achieving success, it requires a lot of hard work to keep the success going, and I think that's what is happening to Manchester City, but doesn't take any form of respect that Pep Guardiola has built for himself when you talk about football managerial duty. He has busted 100%, and he came out clear to say, look, I know that we don't deserve to win. Real Madrid, they were the better team. Manchester City, they've gone through so much this season, and it's affecting them psychologically. But hey, let's see what they can do with the remainder of the season. I think that's where the curtain falls on this edition of Sports Tonight on Channels Television. We'll be back again tomorrow. But until then, in everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.
Bolu, it was nice doing this with you again.
Yeah, always the dress what I want sex with the beautiful Cecilia with the Nigerian green color. Definitely going to have another show another time. Have a beautiful day.
Well, thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Mogbe. Have a good night's rest.